Welcome to another review here on Ray Runner Does Music. Please excuse my hair, I tried to lay down for a bit. Didn't go too well, I'm still quite sick, if you can't tell by my voice. Probably sounds the same because I always have a sort of gay cadence to it. But hey, that's just a theory, a game theory. But anyways, welcome to another review here on Ray Runner Does Music, where today we're reviewing an album I'd rather leave unmentioned and not spoken of. Yes, we're talking about Gossip, released by Sleeping with Sirens, who, if you remember Sleeping with Sirens, they were really a staple of the early Hot Topic emo scene phase, where if you were listening to them on your iMesh or your iPod, you either had straightened dyed hair, some form of skinny jeans, or those weird studded belts that everybody was in love with back in the day. But talking about this new album, you have to go back a little bit to understand what led to this absolute fucking disaster. So if you look back on their album Feel, there was a very definite mood change there from their earlier albums, which escape me right now, but I have the Rise Years vinyl case right here next to me, so I probably should have grabbed it, brought it down there, but I neglected to do that. My stomach is doing some weird things right now. But if you look back in their discography, there were hits like If You Can't Hang and If You're James Dean. Wait, If I'm James Dean, You're Audrey Hepburn. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting song titles. There was a very definite sound even as it evolved over time, and even though Feel was a very definite softer, well, feeling, there was still a certain sound that Sleeping with Sirens had learned to keep together and keep put. Wow, my words are going all over the place. Don't record reviews when you're sick, guys. Start the sentence over. With the release of Feel, there was a definite softer change towards their music, but at the same time, Sleeping with Sirens managed to keep their identity intact and all put together. Then we had the release of Madness, which I actually loved very much. There were songs like Better Off Dead, Kick Me, and Heroin, which still had the signature Sleeping with Sirens sound. Then there were even songs like The Strays and Save Me a Spark, I had to remember the name there, that, again, had hints of the new sound that they were trying to slowly evolve into. And that was the best plan of attack for Sleeping with Sirens, to slowly evolve into this new sound instead of just whipping right into it, because not only in general is that a bad idea for your band, but especially for a band like Sleeping with Sirens, it's not a good idea to just suddenly go for one thing and go straight into another. You have to slowly build into that and not really mindfuck your audience too much, to put into a very blatant term. So then we had the release of the singles Legends and Empire into Ashes. And, well, my expectations were very high. I listened to those singles and I thought, oh my god, we're finally getting a modern arena rock-driven Sleeping with Sirens. Maybe this will be the album that promotes them to arenas for headliners. Who knows? You could see them in Van Andel Arena, Madison Square Garden, who knows? Then Cheers came out and I was thinking to myself, okay, every album has that sort of, poppy feel to it. Every album has that song that's got to be there for the catchiness, for the snappiness, for the pop appeal. They are a pop-punk band, sort of. Then the actual album came out, and the fears that I had getting heightened and heightened and heightened froze as my anticipation dove into the pits of hell. So let's take a look at what happened here. So like I said, the releases, Legends and Empire into Ashes, I would like to say that they were the musical equivalent of clickbait, as I gave you the certain expectation that could not be delivered on by Sleeping with Sirens. And looking closer into the album, you see that there's just more disappointments in the latter half. The only actual good songs I can find anything worth repeating anything about are in the first 4 songs of the album. The title track, both of those 2 lead singles, and Trouble, which Trouble is saccharine and sickeningly repetitive and catchy. It's that kind of song that gets stuck in your head and you hate yourself because it's stuck in your head. And as soon as you're into the latter half of this album, you have absolute train wrecks like Closer and One Man Army, which I'll admit are very good examples of how to let emotion leak through your song, both in terms of instrumentation and vocalization. Kellen Quinn's voice gets across really easily here. That is an emotional song here. This album is guided by emotions and the band evolving and growing up and maturing, but it's not done well whatsoever. The lyrical content here from Kellen is just recycled tropes that have been used in this scene and in every music scene, but done in the absolute worst ways. Think of this album as the Hollywood Undead effect, which I briefly mentioned in my review of Hollywood Undead's new album 5. Check it out over there. My webcam's reversed, so left is right and right is left. Should be in the recommendations. Go check it out. Good shit. It's the Hollywood Undead effect, where you get these singles where you think to yourself, okay, this album's going to be different. It's going to be one that skyrockets them. And then the album comes out, and just like Hollywood Undead's Day of the Dead album, Gossip is an utter train wreck and disaster that could have been something much more than it was, both commercially and within the fan base. The painful truth is, outside of very outstanding 2 singles, and a couple of good songs scattered throughout the... Not even scattered, again, in the first 4 tracks of the CD, Trouble and Gossip. Those and the 2 singles are the only songs I can see myself enjoying, and the only songs I can see a normal Sleeping with Sirens fan enjoying. If you still enjoy this album and find it worth a replay and such, good for you. I applaud you, honestly, because that means you can still love the band. Although myself, I gotta say I'm giving up on the band with this. I'm still gonna listen to Madness, Feel, and if you were a movie user soundtrack, I love those albums. But this is just an utter disappointment and letdown. It's almost cringeworthy to listen to songs like I Need to Know and One Man Army more than once. They show just the absolute pure example of why this album is so bad. The lyrics are so desperate. They're trying so hard to pull you in. Like, please, listen to this. Listen to this thing that I'm trying to tell you. But it's something you've heard in so many other songs, even in Sleeping with Sirens' own discography. It's just a desperate cry for help that's can't be answered because there's nothing you can do to help this poor, limping album. So, like I said, first 4 songs good, latter half terrible. I wish I could say some good things about this. Even with Madness and their song The Strays, I hated that song with a burning passion, but there was at least something good within, and that it was a very fresh and honest, driven song by them. But this album, there's nothing fresh here. There's nothing honest here. The only thing that would be honest is at the end of the final track, War, you just had Kellen Quinn say, hey, this was a fucking joke. The actual album's coming out later in the year. But we don't get that. The only joke is anybody who paid $16 or whatever to buy the CD. Not saying you're a joke, just the fact that the CD is worth that much. I went into FYE a week after the CD released. It was $8 already on clearance. The new Lana Del Rey album had more of a price tag, and don't even get me started on the new Lana Del Rey. But in regards to this, falls into the same category as Citizen, A Lot Like Birds, and Knuckle Puck. It's another case of an album gone wrong. Songs that are trying too hard to be catchy, blatant musical clickbait. I'm repeating myself just like Kellen Quinn is repeating the tropes and fallacies of this album. So, with that said, I'm going to give this album a 4.5 out of 10 and end the review there, and hopefully forget about this album outside of their first 4 songs. So, check out down in the description below, down there. I have one of the very few songs I can actually stand down in there, so you can check it out. If you feel like torturing yourself, then go listen to the full album. But in that case, go down in the comments, tell me why you think I'm a terrible reviewer, because I gave Sleeping with Sirens a well-deserved score. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, unsubscribe, and dislike. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!